Picking a business is so much like picking a partner. It's true. And to prove that, today we're entering this prompt into ChatGPT. You are a person on a dating app. You are lonely and hungry for satisfaction. Sure, you can swipe right on everyone, but you are limited on time. And even you have standards. Based on profiles, what would you choose as red flags and green flags? Then, after you start dating, how does that list change? Has anyone ever online dated before? Dating on the internet?
You know, I'm going to age myself, but it really wasn't a thing when my wife and I got together.
I met my wife at the complete intersection of business and romance. We met at work.
Well, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And in 98, there were no dating apps. Well, we met in 94. So
they're fascinating though. I mean, like I had a buddy, we were on a trip one time and he was single and he was trying to meet people in the area and he was just flipping through, showing me, reading. I was like, this is insane.
So I've talked to some people about it because vicariously I want to know too. And I hear so many people say, "Oh, it's so the dating scene today is so bad." I'm like, "Well, we didn't even have it. You have all the same stuff I did back then, plus apps."
Yeah.
I had I had friends, family, coworkers. That was it. That was my whole world.
Yeah.
Oh no, there was It's Just Lunch. I did go on a date with It's Just Lunch, and they were matching us together. It did not go well. Yeah. They did not match us.
I will say, as it sounds like I'll need to be the expert on online dating. Like, even though I never found a successful match from it,
you got to clarify. You never got matched. You went out, but it didn't work.
I every time I went out, it never really worked.
All right, but you went out. You did get connected. It wasn't just like auditioning for Broadway.
No,
just straight rejection.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And I learned a lot. And so for me, I tried it in I did a website called OkCupid, and OkCupid was the free one that everyone used, and
pay for what you get, son.
Well, that's what they say. They say it was free, so the matches are not going to be great. And at the time, they were like, "You need to invest in eHarmony. You need to invest in Match.com because it shows the partner that you have skin in the game, and you know that this is an investment." And I was like, "No way." Like, that's ridiculous. And then later we learned that, they were owned by different organizations and it wasn't. Anyway, so bottom line is that I used OkCupid. And when I first started using it, I had to adjust to the format because I was not really great in real life and like communicating my value.
So when you see somebody's profile, do you know how long they've been on the platform?
They used to show, I think maybe it's an option now.
Do they show like number of connections?
No, no, they don't.
They don't show like, well, because I'm thinking about comparing that to Google Maps and how I go through. I look for what's their star rating? Do you have star ratings? You don't have star ratings.
No, and
they're really missing. I wonder if China does because they're really big into social.
Oh, they've got that.
Stuff.
Yeah,
star ratings would be awesome.
Score. Yeah, I mean, because it's so personal and it's so depends on your chemistry.
There's no comments either, right? You don't get to see old connection comments. They are missing a huge market here.
Well, so later on, the thing about OkCupid is that when I started trying OkCupid, I would send out dozens and dozens and dozens of messages, and no one ever respond. And at first, I'd be like, "Oh, well, that sucks."
Like applying for a job.
Yeah,
right.
And I'll be like, "Oh, that sucks." Like, it's like I wish that I would at least know if someone wasn't interested. And then I remember I got my first message from someone that was like, "Hello, thank you so much for your message. I am not interested in dating you." And I was like, "Oh, this is way worse."
At least you have that,
at least there's like mysteriousness. So, but what I learned, and also I was in my 20s at the birth of Tinder, and I tried Tinder, and I never went on a date from Tinder, but I got the understanding of it. what online dating did for me was it pushed me away from online dating.
Yeah, well.
And it made me realize like, oh, I am much better in person than online communicating that.
Interesting.
So I think that was a lesson for me, and I think it's probably an accurate lesson probably for businesses too.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, I actually have a few friends that have met, a couple of friends that have met on dating and they've gotten married, right? So it's not uncommon if you ask people how they met, for them to have met on a dating app. So, but I wonder if they were like, good online, I guess, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
both have to line up.
Yeah. Or at least to their partner.
Yeah. I have friends that met online. It wasn't through a dating app. It was through like chat rooms or whatever. So I guess you have a little more safety there to explore. You can have conversations without just judging a profile.
Yeah.
I've listened to my daughter and her friends talk about it. Yeah, I feel like dating's really easy now. Well, one, I think all kids, I don't know, and what do I know? I just hear this third hand, maybe. It sounds to me like everybody's open to the idea, oh yeah, I'm going to have to date a bunch of people.
Really?
So there's a song called by the Nada Surfers. Do you know them?
Mm-mm.
No, it's called Popular. Anyway, and this guy is kind of complaining about how he's not popular and he's not getting dates and not dating the best. And so he's like, I have a solution. Everyone should tell them that there's a 1 month limit on dating. You can go ahead and date somebody else after that 1 month. If you're dating Johnny Football, now's a good time to tell him about your 1 month limit. And after you dated somebody else, you can go back and date him again. But it's a really funny song. But I think that's kind of where there's a lot more, I don't know, what do I want to say? Not inclusion, but it's more accepted to say, well, we're just all going to date a bunch of people.
That's it. That is very
and that might have
interesting.
been a change because of the dating apps, right? Because it makes dating more accessible, and you have to go on a certain amount of dates to find potentially a good partner. And
and so are we more willing? Because has online reviews and so far, are you willing to try more businesses?
Yeah, probably. I
Try
know.
Well,
branch out?
I think it opens up the option, because before that you would never try that like hole in the wall, maybe because like it looked dirty or whatever. But then you go online, you see the reviews, and then like people are raving like they have the best this and this. So I think it opens up the pool of options, right?
Do y'all remember an app called Lulu?
Oh,
if I say Lulu, do you know what that is? So Lulu was a man rating app.
Heard about it. I did. I listened to a podcast on this.
Lulu was a situation where, and listener, correct me if I'm wrong, but the way Lulu worked was that a woman had to review a man, and because a man couldn't go on there, I don't think.
How'd they verify?
I don't know. And I don't think it lasted for long, but I remember
I think they ran into some lawsuits.
Right. And I was like, I remember in 20, I don't know, the 16, 15, when this was happening, a lot of people were like, hey, can you tell me what it says about me on Lulu? And I remember it was, kind of a spooky thing, because you're like, well, these people are saying this stuff and I don't know if it's accurate, or I don't know.
It was like your credit score.
Yeah,
I have no idea what that thing is.
I was like,
I don't know how that changes.
And it's all you know is, and that was part of the I guess the perk of the existence, is that you were expected to be not a jerk. And you're like, oh, well, if I know. And I feel like that sensation of being like, oh, what's someone going to say? I have no control over it. That's the thing that's most like reviews, where a lot of time for reviews, you get this 1-star review that's terrible. And you're like, there's nothing I can do to remedy this, whether it's good or bad.
Well, there is something you can do. You can get 3 or 4 or 5 stars.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, if someone was on a man rating app and they said, don't date Roger because he's too messy. Well, I can't go in and say, hey, don't listen to this person. They're wrong. all I can do is just get a bunch of people to say that I'm not messy.
Yeah, you could be cleaner and then hand out QR codes at the end of each date.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're at the mercy of someone. So I think that I remember when that was happening, I'm like, oh, that feels a lot like
I actually gave a 2-star review yesterday.
Ooh.
Wow.
James, you were there. It was a bakery. We were traveling back from Austin.
What was
I love this bakery. I've been there a lot, and I will change if they reply, I will change my score, my review back. But I got a cupcake there, and they're always amazing. With this one, it was dry. It was the frosting was. I was like, that thing's like 3 days old. There is no way. And I'm like, it's not a cheap cupcake. So I was irritated. So yeah, that thread of the review. Boy, I mean, and in the dating circle, like in college, everybody kind of had a reputation. So if you're at within your friend circle, because that's who you generally date. You didn't. I guess now maybe everybody date you don't date in a friend circle. It's weird.
Yeah,
because I knew who the jerk guys were, and I'd hear some of my friends that were girls would tell me, "Oh yeah, he was a jerk. He dated Stacy and treated blah blah blah." I was like, okay, well, I guess girls should stay away from him, and that kind of got around.
I will say though, like I do feel like reviews, like Google reviews or online reviews, for the most part, do tell the story, right? Because sure, you're going to have some outliers. You get the crazy person that expected everything to be absolutely perfect, or they had an off day and you didn't deliver, like, right? Or maybe there's some fake reviews. But at the end of the day, if you look through the reviews, I still feel like they do a pretty good job of letting
it's a net positive.
It's kind of, yeah. I mean, it's a bit of accountability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we didn't have that before. I think it's interesting, being anonymous on the internet, we can see where that leads and goes into a very dark place. On the other hand, knowing that I am accountable to my customers, that if I upset customer after customer after customer, it's going to catch up with me pretty quickly. I also don't like that I have to play their game, though.
Yeah, I mean, no, you're right. But I just remember when I had the agency, a customer would come and they'd have these big plans, and I'd go look on Google and it'd be like a 2.3. And I'm just like, oh, this is like, something's wrong.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
and
it's just like, oh, this is not going to be good.
Yeah. All right. So let's look at the red and green flags, we'll do green first and then red. Or we'll go one by one and kind of see what our perspective.
And these are red and green flags that are applicable both to business profiles and to prospective romantic profiles.
Supposedly, but we're going to see.
No. That's what we're saying. That's what I'm saying. This, you have to think of the list. Whatever you say now has to apply to both. That's the challenge.
Well, okay.
So you can't say number of reviews because there aren't reviews in the romantic side, right? On Tinder.
Well, I'm saying, so ChatGPT cranked out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red flags and 6 green flags.
All right, give me a green flag.
All right, so here's the top green flag. Clear photos where I can actually see you.
Applicable to both.
Yes, 100%. Yep. I mean, I you don't have much to go on, so they're going to have a heavy weight on photos, right?
And that's easy, too, because you can upload your own photos in both situations.
Yeah.
And, it doesn't just have to be the grainy person that has a Motorola flip phone that took that one picture at your place. You can upload your own pictures.
But and on the same side, on the opposite side is like, if they're too curated, you know what I mean? You're like, what is going on here? Like that. I want to see a mix of real plus, like, I don't know.
It's so funny you say that. So I had a friend, she found her husband online. I don't know that it was a dating app. I'm not quite sure how they connected. And so, but they were starting to, this was before, I guess it was before dating apps, because they didn't have profiles with pictures. So they were interacting, email or whatever. And finally, they sent a picture to each other. And at the time, I was very much of the notion that you had to put your best foot forward. You're right. So you should dress up. You should wear a blazer, do whatever. And so when she showed me the picture that her then husband actually used and won her over, it was just him sitting at a chair with his 2 labs.
Love it.
Yeah, except that I was like, hey, wait, my whole world crashed down. I was like, what do you mean you don't want to be shouldn't you be dressed up and no, you want to be casual and authentic. And I'm like, oh God, I think I want my wife to know that I'm going to put my really try.
Or do you set a bar that's under, you can't keep that bar forever, right? Like I need you to understand where I actually live for the most part, right? If you're actually looking for a partner, right?
I understand that. I just, it shattered me.
The other great thing about photos is that it is a thing that you can actually do it.
Sure.
You can take a picture of the staff. You can take a picture of some food. You can take a picture of a house or of an office and go update Google right then and there.
And it did really help my dating profile when I took a picture of my staff. I meant the employees that I had.
All right, moving on.
So the household employees that really
we're gonna do we're gonna do the next green flag, and that is a bio with some specificity.
Specificity,
and I think that's pretty applicable to dating. I
and
found
so
those super,
when I look at a bio, again, I don't want it to be ChatGPT perfect, right? And like overly compensating. You know what I mean? Like, give me some real stuff, right? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, specificity is the details are what get us through life. And so if you are just looking at this is a hamburger store and you get hamburgers at the hamburger store, I'm like, okay, what else? Like
yeah. Are you going to tell me you use tomatoes or vine-ripe tomatoes?
So where does this specificity come in for dating profiles? Like when you're asking our resident expert, Roger, is it my hobbies and interests? Is it my likes and dislikes?
Well,
where is that?
Back in the day when I was an OkCupid, they had questions and they were kind of goofy questions and you would answer them. And that was your opportunity to show what your personality was like. So if you are very succinct, you'd answer it one way. Or if you're verbose, you answer it another way. Or if you're goofy, you answer it in one way. Or if you're solemn, you do it another way. And so your matches can see and go, oh, wait a second. This guy's a little bit too absurd for my tastes. I'm going to move on to someone else. Or you can go, oh, this guy's funny. I like this.
Yes.
And so it is a way for you to use specificity to get your personality out there so that you are only attracting the people, because when you first start doing it, you think, oh, I want to attract everyone. I want everyone that sees my thing to come in. I want to do the most people possible, but that's not true.
Well, you actually end up with less because you're this bland amalgamation of nothing nothing stands out about you.
Exactly. You don't want the most people possible. You want the best matches possible to reach as far in your radius as possible. And so I think that's really applicable.
It's interesting when, again, back at the agency, I would have to hire people occasionally. And I found a way that worked really well for me because I'd use like Indeed or Craigslist, all different places to find people. But my number one qualifier was I would ask a question that they had to answer, right? And it wasn't something off their resume or whatever. And the sole purpose of that is I just wanted to see their writing and how they would answer it, right? And I could tell a lot by the person. So that would be the first thing before I even look at their resume, I'm seeing how they answer the question.
Do you think that still works?
Yes, 100%.
Well, but every answer is through ChatGPT. They can make it sound like but it's not ChatGPT.
Well,
so
I mean, but if it's
you get their answer.
If it's a ChatGPT answer, you could probably kind of tell it's a little over the top. Now, if they took the time to adjust it, fine, so be it, right? Like, I think it's a good way to just get a glimpse into who the person is.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
We need to put a disclaimer on this because I don't think anyone in this room has been on a first date in the past 10 years. So the fact is, this landscape that we're talking about,
I do love that 3 people in committed relationships for a long time are sitting here talking about dating apps that didn't even exist when I got married, and you're referring to OkCupid.
That's
our basis.
So the truth is, that things probably have changed a lot, and we want you to chime in if you've used a dating app in the last 10 years and how you think that's changed or applicable.
But I still think it's relevant to comparing it, versus picking a business to spend money with, right? Like you're picking a partner, not for your life, but
you're
for
picking a partner. You're picking it for a date.
Yeah,
It's
like,
one date. Who cares?
Exactly.
I mean, it's the same as going out. I do think it's the same as, I'm going to choose to go to this restaurant or buy that HVAC from these people or what. I mean, it's a commitment, but life is life, and you can stumble on, and having a bad date or a bad experience at a restaurant or a bad, somebody that doesn't do your nails the way you want or whatever. Now I guess there are things, urgent care.
Yeah,
probably that's something that's lifelong.
I interrupted you before you were about to say something, I think.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I just, one of the built-in assumptions that we all have, and this is just a world perspective that I think we don't really internalize. On any given task, half of us are below average at it.
Ooh.
By definition. And yet, when it comes to picking people that we're going to hire, which restaurant we're going to go to, or who we're going to date, we are really the sole arbiter of that, and think we know better than anybody else could possibly tell us, oh, I can judge whether this person based on a writing sample. I can base it. Statistically, at best, you're going to be average at that.
Sure. I just meant
and then,
like,
no, I get it. I understand. And it's just an interesting point, because all that power is because obviously you as the consumer should be the one to choose, right? We can't just go around saying, oh, James, you're going to eat at Fuddruckers today. That's
nice.
what you're going to do. Does sound good. We can't do, even if I as an expert actually know it's a better match for you than what you may think just looking through, but you have that power.
Did it like match, and some of them like have a person probably with some machine learning actually go like assign?
Oh, they didn't even do a machine. When I did It's Just Lunch, and it was just somebody in the background. They knew who, how many guys, how many girls, and they just matched them up based on, oh, he's a teacher. Oh, this girl's a teacher. Like, we had totally different backgrounds, totally different interests, different education. There was absolutely zero real overlap. It was just on the surface. She's a teacher. I'm a teacher. Let's put them together. That's how they used to do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. What's number 3 on chat?
Okay.
The list?
Thank you. So the third one is going to be saying what you want with warmth. So they're saying that
Say what you want.
Being clear about what your needs are and what you want out of a relationship, but not doing it in a demanding way.
I kind of feel like that is a little bit part of the profile in a way, right? Like, but I guess it's
my take on it is to me that sounds like a call to action. I think that a lot of businesses will say, well, hey, we're this business, and maybe check out some of our cakes or something. And people need a clear call to action of what do you want me to do? Do you want me to come take a class? Do you want me to come buy, come do a free thing or buy this product? And so I think when we're building our business profiles and in our marketing, we need to be clear about what we want from customers.
Like, come try our world famous tres leches.
Sure.
I don't know. Award winning.
So read that point again. I got a little lost on that point. Oh,
right.
You have to say what you want with warmth.
Right. So what ChatGPT said was casual, serious, dating with intention, opening to see what happens. I don't need a marriage proposal in the bio, but I do need to know whether I'm applying for romance, situationship, or unpaid therapy internship. So that's what that gave as its green flag.
Yeah. So with business, you know what the objective is. And we know what the life cycle is for, if you're a restaurant, I'm looking to have you come to my restaurant twice a month. I mean, on average, that's probably what That's a pretty good number for me. So I think we know what the business knows, or we know what a business wants out of me a lot more directly than a person, because
for sure
that relationship is obviously very different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You could argue that,
there is no business that's like, I really want you, one done, thank you, ma'am, and then they're going to move on.
Not exactly an exact correlation, but you have a variety of different services, and like obviously you want, I don't know.
The point that I was making was, the other day I was working with someone and they were creating an email newsletter, and in the email newsletter it said, we want you to come to this event, and then you scroll a little bit farther down and then it says, we want you to download this lead magnet, and then you scroll down a little bit later and it says, we want you to go on this wait list for this new class or something. And the thing is, in this email newsletter, it asked me to do 3 different things. And it's like, it says, I want you to, and I'm like, well, hold on. What message do you want from me? Do you want someone to go take a long walk on the beach? Then let me know that. You've given me 4 different things that you're asking me. So that was the thing that I was connecting mentally, is that you need to be clear with what you want.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of local business, though. Local business, you always know what you want. We know what we want out of local business, and local businesses know what they want out of.
Well, couldn't that be as obvious as, we know what you want? I mean, you want to build a connection. If you're on a dating app, I guess you could want to.
There's long term.
Kinds,
I'm looking for a fling. I don't really know. I'm a mess. I want to be fixed. I don't want to be fixed. I'm stuck. There's a lot of different variations in personal relationships. And if you start talking about businesses that are, like investment, if I'm doing investments, there's Schwab that they actually offer a gambit. They say, hey, you can do self-directed, or we have workshops, or we have financial advisors. Those are 3 different kinds of relationships I can have with that business.
Yeah, but they're all financial advice. But
yeah, but I mean, that's not that's I'm on Tinder to meet a person,
right?
That's the same as I'm looking for a financial advisor. Now the question is, what is the nature of that relationship?
Yeah.
So those businesses do have to be that. Local business is not like that by and large. I get a real estate agent to buy a house or sell a house. We know what that transaction looks like. On average, it's going to take me 7 years before I'm ready to do that again. So maybe with the realtor, it's a little bit of, how are you going to do it, right?
Sure.
But beyond that, when you start talking about quick serve restaurants, fast casual, nail salons, hair salons, dry cleaners, we know exactly what that relationship and what that frequency is.
Well, specifically on the business profile.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as they know what the title of them is, I know what my relationship's going to be. Yeah.
So let's talk.
Let's go red flags.
Right.
Yeah.
So the first one, every prompt is negative. Every prompt. So like, no drama, no liars, no cheaters. Don't be boring. Don't ask stupid questions.
That just sounds like good old common sense to me.
To being negative,
to say all those things, like, you don't want those.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of interpret that, and I know it's not on a dating app, but on the business side, that's bad reviews.
Sure, bad reviews and responses to bad reviews.
Yeah, I like the response.
If someone says, if someone says, I came in here and da 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 da, and then you respond and say, hey, you came in and made a huge scene, da 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 da. I'm like, all right, well, this just sounds like a,
defensive. They're not listening to their customer, especially if they have a low rating and that's how they're responding.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes you think, like, if I go in there, is there going to just be a big shouting match? There's an element of, when there is something negative that comes up, do you respond with negativity, or do you try to de-escalate?
Yeah.
And if I'm seeing in their responses, not that they're gaslighting, but that they're trying to de-escalate, I'm going to be more sympathetic to their rating.
There was a great tire company in Luling, Texas. I got a flat as I was headed up on I-10, and I had run flat, so I was able to. So we start looking up tire companies nearby, and we find this one, and it is very clear the owner himself is responding to every single. Now, they had like a 4.7, so they were doing really well, and it was a lot, like hundreds of reviews. So it was very clear that they were a strong business. But every negative review had like a paragraph of, well, Mr. Walters, I see that you are complaining about the $36 tire that we charged you, and you say it was too much and it was a retread. Let me just remind you, that was Christmas Eve. We made a special trip to open up for you, and you said you didn't want to buy a new tire, which we offered at $75 with no addition. Just on and on and on. It was
which, in that situation, I think it's okay.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
No, we went to the guy. We're like, hey, we love these reviews.
Yeah, he earned the right to be a little bit like,
and you can do that on a 4.7.
Yes, exactly. That's right.
Yeah.
But if he had a 2.2, you'd be like,
yep.
That's funny.
Next up, the profile is all flex, no personality. I think this one is they're saying that if all your profile is cars and showing your biceps and luxury bottle service nights out, then people think, all right, we see how great you are, but that's not a connection.
Which brand does that? Give me a brand that you think relates to that.
I don't want to dox a brand.
I
We're not
mean,
gonna dox them. They're the ones advertising. It's
fast
not our
food,
fault.
the big fast food giants, maybe. I don't know, because
I'm trying to think of a local business that
true.
I've seen that tried to try. Well, so I'll there's one restaurant. I will not name the restaurant, but they kind of got popular. They got some press, and you know what? Here's one that I'll put on blast. Do you know Rao's? RAO. What? So here it's a popular tomato sauce. If you go to the tomato sauce aisle, there's one called Rao's. It's from a New York restaurant called Rao's, and what their advertising is that you can't get a table unless you know someone who has a table. And so then you think, well, how do you get a table? And it's like, oh, well, you have to know someone, and they already have to have a table. And there's kind of this aura around the exclusivity of Rao's. Here's the deal. I don't think the tomato sauce is that good. And I'm like, all right, well, if I'm going to New York and I want to try this restaurant, I'm like, all right, I'm turned off. I mean, if there's no way to try this restaurant, if they're doing so great without me, cool.
Well, they're also building exclusivity, which some people like. You know what I mean?
And that's the question. Like,
yeah, but it's fake exclusivity. If you're advertising exclusivity,
true. There you go. Right.
It is.
If you have to say it,
if you have to pay people to be in your pop-up store line, you're not that kind of.
I'm always wary.
So I get that where that red flag.
I'm always wary of people that are expressing these things that are like, that should be just a given. You know what I mean? Like, why?
Yeah. So if it's. You can't advertise and say you're funny. You just have to be funny.
Right.
Yeah.
So the last one, I think these are, there's two of them, and I think they're both pretty applicable. One is trying to rush too fast into a relationship.
I just learned the term for that while I was researching.
What?
Love bombing.
Love bombing,
bombing, okay.
Or, so that's one, or just giving no effort.
Minimal effort, right?
You see that a lot. You see
minimal. No,
it says no effort.
No effort.
In business, though, you see a lot of minimal effort businesses, right? And maybe they're just so worked, swamped, because running a business is a big deal. Like, it takes a lot of energy, and they're burnt because they don't, they don't do it right. They didn't do it right. They're trying to do too much themselves.
Yeah, they're like, I'm so busy trying to make hamburgers that I was not even able to research Google, and I do understand that when you go, I've just got so many other things to do that Google's not even on my mind. But that is also, I think branding is super important.
Sure, and it's part of
branding is saying, hey. Here is my public persona that I care about, and I want you and I want you to connect with this. And if I see people put effort into that, then I go, okay, well, I might put effort into going and checking it out. So branding is this thing where we go, yeah, I know I need to do it, but I need to let the food stand for itself. And I don't think it works that way.
100%. I mean, and I wasn't saying that it's justified. I'm just saying I see that a lot.
Yeah,
right?
it happens.
They don't. Yeah.
I'm. This is just an odd connection. I was thinking, did you guys watch we've talked about the TV show The Traders?
Yeah.
And so it's a reality television. They all
Yeah.
go to Scotland, and there's, traders, and they kill people, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the guy that won, I think his name was Brandon, he was on, they were all reality shows. I've only watched one episode of this season because my wife and daughter told me I had to. So I watched this, and they were all reality show people. And so this guy had been on Love Island or Love something.
Yeah, I don't know
what it is. So on Love Island, he wore suspenders without a shirt. And that was his big thing on Love. And he's, pretty bulked up and so forth, very attractive guy. And so when he came to Traders, he didn't bring his suspenders because he was like, I'll just bring, because you have to bring your own clothes. And the producers were like, where are your suspenders? And he's like, what do you mean? I don't have to any. They were really pushing hard. He had to wear the suspender, and they got him in the suspenders.
They're like, that's his brand.
That's his brand. And I was thinking about this, and nobody really suspected him. He ended up being the main trader and winning. And nobody really suspected him because he's such an attractive guy, built all this dressed up and so forth. And I think going back to my comment about you that we were talking about our perception of things, let's face it, what green flag are you really going to use to pick profiles? It's how they look.
Oh,
you're going to go, that person's cute.
I mean, it's the number one part, right? Like it's going to be the first thing.
Are you attracted to them?
And then the other things follow.
And then you go look at the other things to justify your decision.
I'm not going to name any fast food place specifically, but I do love being in the drive-through line, looking at this giant wall wrap of this amazing looking burger. Then when you pull around and take your burger out, it is the saddest, driest, oldest looking thing. And you're like, what? That's not that. And yet you continue to see that advertising. And you go, yeah, I might go back.
Yeah, they put it up on a pedestal, like under arches. No, wait, no, we weren't going to. Okay.
Well, you bring up a good point. This is a little bit different. Like when running the business, bringing on new customers, I always talk to my team about red flags. Red flags were huge, right? And I more was like, you guys got to hold me accountable, because sometimes you see a red flag, but then you're like, maybe they're attractive, right? And I can make this work.
Maybe as you're going through life, don't do just your first instinct and emotion to it. Maybe look a little deeper at the businesses that you're observing.
Yeah, for sure. And that's not just when you're refreshing your page thinking like, oh, why didn't anyone respond to me? It might be because you're not putting that effort in. Yeah. All right. So green flags and red flags. Green flags. Have a clear photo where people can actually see you. Uploading media about your business is a simple way to connect very quickly. And as Eric said, it's all about your face card. 2, you got to have specificity in your bio. We want to be clear who you are and what you do and why you fit with your potential customer. And then finally, you want to ask what you want, but you want to do it with warmth. You want to say, hey, here's what I'm about, and I'm going to do it in a positive way. And red flags. Number 1, don't be negative. Don't be too exclusive. Make sure that people can access you and they're not intimidated by your online presence. Red flag 2, your profile's all flex, no personality. If everything's all about how great you are, not about who you are, it's going to be hard for someone to take a chance. And then finally, moving too fast, that's a big one. But then also put some effort. We know that you're busy. We're busy as business owners, but you want to put some effort into your brand. And that is the thing that communicates to people that you are real and they can have a connection with you. I'm probably not going to download any apps because I think that would greatly jeopardize my committed relationship.